If you guys enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we're back with another mini collection showcase. This episode, we're going to be doing the classic Wave 1 line of Godzilla figures from Youtooz Collectibles. After they did some Godzilla vs. Kong stuff, which went up for order and sold out like hotcakes, they went back a year later and did some more classic era Godzilla stuff, which, as you can see, we have 4 different kaiju: Godzilla himself, MechaGodzilla, Mothra, and Ghidorah. And as you can tell, they're not based on, well, some of them are more based on specific versions of others, but they all take like inspiration, say, except for him, with like different styles or incarnations of the characters in Mushman 1. Instead of doing like Mothra 1961, Mothra 1964, Mothra 1992, they just did one solo Mothra figure. That said, they also came out with other waves. And in this video, I also want to talk about why I kind of negated to talk about Youtooz stuff or get Youtooz stuff, but we're just going to start with the basics, starting with Gojira, which I will not be opening them, much like the Funko one. This is basically going to be Godzilla with the train, and as you can see, it's in the new warp style packaging. Mine's kind of got ripped when I was trying to move out, so yay. But basically, it's a tiny little Godzilla. You basically just get him and the train together, and he's kind of gnawing on the train, kind of a reference to the 54 design. This isn't necessarily the 54 design, more like Yootooz's own do not steal version of Godzilla, even though it's, it's approved by Toho. Anyway, it's essentially almost like a Showa era-esque Godzilla, except it has the 4 toes, so it kind of borrows a bit from Heisei, but it's also green, kind of more stylistic with that of the Millennium Godzilla, so it's definitely a mixture of all different types of Godzillas, with definitely the more reference one being the first Godzilla, the 54. And in all honesty, it's probably my favorite, which if I had to quickly rank them, I would honestly say my favorite being Godzilla, and then I would say second favorite would actually be Mothra, and then a tie between Ghidorah and MechaGodzilla for last place. Not that they're bad figures, heck no. It's just I really like Godzilla and the Mothra. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be the Godzilla one. Next, we're gonna go over MechaGodzilla, which, as you can tell, he's based on the more 70s iteration. And I've also done individual reviews of these guys as well, so if you want to go check those out, you can go right ahead. But as you can tell, MechaGodzilla is definitely going to be the more, what you'd say, weirder looking one, because his big blocky feet, he almost looks like a Roblox character. And yeah, he's gonna be this part of the reason why I don't like him as much as the Mothra and Godzilla. But in retrospect, I also like him because, it's very rare we get like chibi Mechagodzillas in the 4-inch scale, but then I say that and then Funko came out with one. But this was honestly one of the cooler ones, but at the same time, it definitely doesn't really scream. I don't know what to really like to describe it as. It was great for what it was, but there were some things that could have been improved. For example, the painting on the the little side antennas, those could have been done a little bit better. Thank goodness they corrected the mistakes with the rockets in his mouth, because once you really see it, there's just no going back. Also, the lack of dry brushing on these guys is also a bit of a bummer. And yeah, there was no articulation. He was in a basic pose. But yeah. Next is Mothra. The Mothra is going to be more. It looks more Heisei inspired than Showa, but you can definitely still see what the Showa one. My only real kind of gripe with it is mainly the way the eyes are done, because it kind of looks weird with the more closed eyes on the actual eyeballs. But then again, it would have been kind of hard to actually pull it off and actually make it look good, so I understand why Youtooz did it the way they did. But the wing pattern looks nice, the paint job on the body looks nice, The sculpt looks really good, and I would say like of all the Godzilla figures here, Mothra definitely has like the most widespread color scheme. And yeah, it just looks really nice. I also appreciate that they gave her a flight stand instead of making her just a basic figure they just put there and doesn't have a stand, so she might topple over. So that's something I have to commend. And sadly, I can't show Ghidorah without like having a whole friggin' packaging debacle. But yeah, essentially Ghidorah was because this is like the older style packaging where they showed like the artwork. Funny enough, my sister got me this, so massive shout out to my sister. And essentially, it's a mixture of different Ghidorah designs. So the heads are going to be GMK, and then the wings look more Heisei-esque. Well, specifically the legs as well, but it also has like the frills and like the spine work of the Showa era Ghidorah, which is definitely a huge plus in my personal opinion. But it's also like really small. I feel like because of the package size, it could have like maybe shrunk down the size of the wings. I don't know. Here's what I would have done. Have them separate pieces, overlap inside, and then when you take it out, you could like put it together. That would have looked nice. So, but yeah, that's just like a brief overview of the Godzillas. Remember, this is just kind of meant to show my collection piece by piece until I eventually do like the collection videos, and then we go right back to doing these ones. But that said, why haven't I really bought anything from Youtooz as of late? Mainly one reason: money. If you guys don't know, Youtooz figures are actually pretty damn pricey. And, because, like, let's think about this. Each of these figures is about $35. $30 at retail, $5 per shipping. So you have 35, 35, 35, 35. You're looking at a final price tag of about, I actually don't really know how much that is. About $147. There you go. Quick mental math. But yeah, this is $140 right here. And that's more with resale value. I don't plan on selling these guys, but that's kind of a problem because they recently also came out with like more Godzilla classic stuff, like a Godzilla lamp, like a little sleepy Godzilla you can like smack and then it'll glow or something. And then also a Godzilla mug a few like a year or so back, and then a Godzilla plush, Mothra plush. I don't know. There's like a billion of these things. Um, but really, the waves of Godzilla stuff, I've just been getting a little less and less excited for, just because like I'm so far behind. Because with the figures, like I also missed out on the godzillakongthenewempire figures, which there was a Godzilla Evolved, Kong with Beast Club, and then a Godzilla vs. Shimo and a Scar King versus Kong. Which why they wouldn't put Scar King and Shimo with as their own figures, I have no clue. But really, I just kind of wish Youtooz would lower the price because really, it's a problem for a lot of collectors. And, you know, as an adult now, like an older adult, I was like a older teenager, like 17 or so when they first started getting these. So I didn't really have a lot of responsibilities. I'm now in my 20s and I can't really be spending that much money on these things when, keep in mind, these four alone would probably be worth the amount that I would have paid for him, the Titan sized Godzilla. Maybe a little less, but that still kind of goes to show like 4 3-inch figures or that big behemoth. Really, it's kind of like essentially there's other things, there's other companies I'd rather give my money to as far as like bank for your buck. So Youtooz, I do plan on revisiting them sometime. I can't really say I'm done with Youtooz like forever because they are putting out some pretty good stuff, and they have a reason for me to return. That Godzilla mug, I really want that mug. That Godzilla lamp, I also really want that lamp. Plushies, not really a big plush guy. Take it or leave them. But the other figures, maybe. They did come out with a Ghidorah, they came out with a Rodan, and they came out with a new version of Godzilla plus the GXK line, so maybe. But that said, outside of this and the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong showcase, I don't really have much Youtooz videos planned, so this could be it for a while. It was fun to revisit while I did. But, well, that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.